Welcome back, everyone, to your energy update for the week. My name is Emily Gear. I'm a transformative energy healer, a twin flame healer, and a multidimensional channel. And I bring you your messages through the akashic records with the use of tarot, oracle cards, channeling, and clairaudience, clairvoyance, etc. So I also wanted to thank you guys for all of your likes and your comments, your shares and your subscribes, your very kind emails that I've received. Just a quick reminder that in any of those things, please do not be creepy. That is not appreciated, okay? Most of you are not. Thank you so much for being awesome, 99.9% of you guys. Always great to be back here with you. I want to be doing more videos with you. However, I don't know if that's going to happen over the next couple months just because this is the busiest time of year for me, year-end reports and whatnot with my other job. So we shall see. In the meantime, this is my website where you can reach me to set up a private session to work on whatever your individual issues might be, or anything that's coming up for you, any discomfort, anything that needs healing, or anything that you just want to discuss, okay? All that can be found on my website. So without further ado, there I am. We're going to get into your reading for this week. So I've already opened the records. And I just want to ask for messages for the collective for roughly the week ahead. Messages for the collective, please, for the week ahead. Okay, so we've got the High Priestess with the King of Cups and the Star. Right now I'm hearing the word resurrection, and I'm actually feeling it from a very deep internal place that I'm relating back to the Scorpio retrograde, or the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio that we just went through. Okay, we have just literally today moved into the sign of Sagittarius, and it's almost like a resurrection from the dead is what they're calling it. So whatever you have been working on, yeah, okay. So the Chariot is also coming out here. Whatever you've been working on these past 3 weeks, while we're still in the shadow period, you might revisit it just a little bit to kind of give it the final touches. But what I'm actually feeling is this sense of moving forward in a, they're using the word luck. So in a very auspicious sort of way, that you don't need to give a lot of mental thought to this, that your instincts are very keen right now. Your feelings are very keen right now, and they might help you to make certain decisions for yourself. I'm not saying that you should make huge decisions based on like business or, I don't know, financial situations or anything like that necessarily. These decisions feel more like how you want to focus your energy moving forward. And that it's gone through a sort of death and rebirth process. And the resurrection was the first word that came in when these cards came out. The Star card relates to me to resurrection, or to a rising, to a healing. It's a rebirth. She even looks kind of pregnant in this picture, but like, this is all about you. I feel like this is all about you. And not really just a little bit about emotional mastery, but more than that, it's like this deep internal knowing that is so much more than the mental, so much more than like the physical world. It is just so far deep inside you. It's like the place where you hold all the things that you love. And in that place is beginning to be welcomed yourself. It's a weird way of saying that or getting to that point. But I'm hearing the word baptism, like you've kind of baptized yourself in those waters of self-acceptance. And we have this water imagery in both of these cards because the star always involves a sort of water. And so it looks like cleansing. Sometimes it looks like a rebirth. It looks like a resurrection. They said again, I guess they just want that word this time. So, and a baptism is a rebirth too. So following the death of Scorpio, there's always, and like part and parcel of that death in Scorpio is the rising, like the phoenix, the resurrection, the rebirth. Okay. So that's like a package deal in that energy. But as we today move into the sign of truth and faith and belief and justice, we can feel confident. They're saying that we are resurrecting in a kind of personal truth. I also heard earlier, this is just, from reading through some different astrological articles about Neptune going direct very, very soon. And they were just sort of pointing to that in my head, reminding people of certain delusional tendencies that we may have had that were getting reworked through this process. And just being aware of them, not grasping onto them, maybe not trying to berate ourselves over any of that kind of energy that might still be hanging on, but to realize that reality is a different thing from what we think it is. And I say that for individuals who are saying who hold so tightly to their truth that it sort of no longer is true, in the sense that you create an identity and an attachment to a certain set of beliefs or truths, right? As we're moving from the sort of underworld into the sign of truth, I think it's important to remember to loosely grip that to an extent, and that if we hold so tightly to that, that plays into these sort of difficult delusions that we can pull ourselves into unwittingly, right? Because we're trying to create a structure for ourselves to operate, to exist in. But it ends up doing more harm because because in that sense, we're really holding an inflexible attachment in the mental sphere. We're not reaching deep down into the real truth of the universe, of which we are a part, but we are one part. So there are infinite, like the stars in the sky, infinite versions of truth. So I want to leave you with that thought. I don't want to go much deeper into that before it sort of loses its meaning for you guys. But to know that as you loosely hold on to these things that you have discovered, that you have learned, that you have cleared out, to continue to follow your deepest alignment. And that might have an emotional component to it, but it's important not to only latch on to these emotions because they can become unrepresentative of your actual truth as well. Okay. So know that moving forward, and be light, be gentle, keep your grasp very light is what they're saying. in order to move through with the most grace and ease through this period, to absorb the most healing, to absorb the most upgrades, and to be as highly aligned with this kind of eternal truth as possible. Because they're saying that those delusions, those attachments, all those things that we go through and hold at different times, they're actually part of the process of discovering this overall truth of holding lightly. Okay? So that's something they wanted to get through today. Let's see what other messages. We have 3 of Cups with the 2 of Swords. King of Pentacles now with the 10 of Cups. There's something that some of you, or we as a collective, have been fearful of, not seeing, not looking at, that might be blocking us from a more physical manifestation of our highest alignment. I'm going to leave it at the words highest alignment, because you could say your fulfillment, you could say your happiness, you could say the things that you want or you're trying to manifest. All of those are more specific ways of talking about what is in your true alignment. And there's some kind of implanted emotional chaos going on that we are not always seeing. There's some other feeling coming up here. I'm trying to figure out what it is. There's a change or resisting as well, they just said. So you've been through a lot of change. And I think that at some point we start to say enough is enough. But we don't really get to call the shots on that. We are but asleep, essentially. And there's a higher power, a higher force, whether you call it God, source, or the universe, that is helping us to see. Okay? Really helping us to wake up to our potential. Our potential. And it could be that this is actually, at this week maybe, could be a really needed break from some of that deeper seeing. I almost feel this like a rest or a break from it, but a not seeing of it. So if that's how you feel this week, then I would say just allow whatever is coming up for you. So if what's coming up for you is a feeling of just like needing to not be so focused on changing and transforming for a little bit, that is totally fine. That might absolutely be coming in for you. There's so much healing that has taken place here that you should feel very accomplished, they're saying. But there is certainly more to go. There are some, I'm just feeling deeply that there are some things that we as a collective are not looking directly at. We're kind of dancing around it. And that may be coming up soon. So just be aware of that. But I also feel that it's totally legitimate and it's living in the now to embrace any kind of respite that you feel coming in for yourself now, which I think is definitely backed up with this star card. It's like a breather. It's like when you walk out of a hot, crowded building full of people who are full of anxiety or anger or whatever, and you just take a breath in the cool night air. That's really what this feels like to me. They're also saying that this, wherever you are right now, is fine. Like, that's exactly where you need to be. And there's no shame in taking that step back, taking that rest. And then you will be well on your way. They're pointing me to Capricorn season, right? That very earthy, very pentacles oriented earth sign, which is all about career and money and legacy and structure and organization and society, societal structures, and what's the word I'm looking for? Institutions. There's plenty of time to build this institution here. Okay. The institution of your truth, of yourself, of your highest alignment. It's coming in. Just know there's more work to be done. So if you feel this kind of chaotic energy deep within, but you are just like, I need a break, it's fine. Just let it be. Just be in the now with it. If you're lucky enough to recognize what it is, then just ask that it leave. Just ask that you let it go, or that you see what you need to do. If you need to do anything, or you just be in that energy and just be in the awareness of it and the allowance of letting it go. Okay. Let's see if there are any oracle cards that want to come out with that to clarify. Source, do you have any messages you'd like to give to clarify these messages? Okay. This makes sense. Hope. It's kind of what we've been talking about here, like, should you have those upheavals, that weird feeling inside, it's okay. An intention, having the intention of just releasing it, letting it go, and the proper time, and knowing that you don't have to know what the proper time is. Just setting the intention that it go at the right time. This is also very star-like imagery here with the woman and the water pouring out of the bowl. And so it feels like cleansing or clearing or healing or rest. Cleansing is really what it feels like. So take a cleansing breath and just know that in the now moment, you are exactly where you need to be. Whatever those emotional feelings are, okay? That they are in some way leading you to this healing. That does not mean every emotion you have is, God, I don't know what my dogs are doing. Something just crashed. That doesn't mean that every emotional feeling you have is based upon reality, because it's emotions. Like, they're very different energies, okay? But it does mean that it is serving a purpose to get you into this space here, okay? Apologies, my 14-year-old dog with dementia was beating the shit out of the trash can. So we had to put a stop to that. This is my life. Okay. All right. That's about, even though I was interrupted, I think I was about at the end of that message anyway. All right. Knight of Wands, card for Sagittarius and the first day of Sagittarius. And also in a reading where we've already seen the Chariot come up here. I do feel like there might be like sort of, what they're kind of showing me is like this week, just like a weekish of kind of being in this reflective period. Could correspond to that shadow period after Mercury retrograde. Could refer to other astrological alignments which are taking place this week. Could simply be whatever the fuck it is, and we're all just experiencing it. Okay, so it is sort of a pause week I'm getting, with some movement forward coming in, though, following that kind of regeneration, rebirth, resurrected self. Okay, so we have the Four of Swords with the the Knight of Wands, Emperor, the Lovers, the Ace of Wands, and the Magician. I feel like this is about going into the next seasons with not only drive, but also a plan. When does Jupiter go into Capricorn? I don't know when that happens, but it happens sometime soon. And this just makes me think of Jupiter, the Emperor. And following that is this sort of self-motivated creation. It's like you went to the underworld. You divested yourself of all kinds of things that weren't serving you. You get a little break to catch your breath. And then you start gathering up all this universal energy so that you can step in full speed ahead and start to manifest your life, your dreams, your new found, the new version of yourself, the new you, in the new truth, in the new alignment, after divesting yourself of all this shit. Because so much of this whole year has been about releasing and letting go. It doesn't mean there won't be challenges. I think we all know about some of the challenging aspects that Pluto and Saturn are making in the next couple months. But that to me serves to really transform and, let's say, anchor the projects that you are starting now in this newly aligned truth, okay? So if you have aligned in that truth, and these projects or whatever you're sort of birthing out of this situation, out of this divesting yourself of the crap that is no longer serving you, as long as you have aligned in order to come to these truths, then the kind of regenerative and stabilizing force of Pluto and Saturn, I feel like, are actually sort of purifying the intention and creating a more stable and divine energy within these projects, this thing that you're putting forth, okay, whatever that is for you. So I don't know what it is. For everybody, it feels something like a way of approaching life. So it could have to do with what you're putting out into the world. It could have to do with how you're communicating with the world. It could have to do with just the way that you think about yourself in the world, the way that you present yourself, all those things. It feels like a new paradigm. That's what I'm getting at. It feels like a new paradigm. This doesn't feel like, oh, relationship. Not to make fun of relationships. That came out wrong. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels bigger, as it almost feels like a new way of seeing or being in your own existence. that is more deeply aligned with who you really are and your own truth versus higher universal truths, and holding those things lightly. Okay? So that they remain malleable and can remain your truth. If you hold too tightly, they begin to break apart. If that makes sense. Saturn and Pluto are going to make sure that anything that's too tight is broken apart so that you can move with more fluid energy through the next several months. Okay. I'm just going to pull a few more cards from the Work Your Light Oracle because this feels like a good message for the week. And we're about at 23 minutes here. Final thoughts, please, Source, on our message for the week. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. Facing your true north. What is that? Aligning. You're already doing it. Like I said, don't feel any of the sense of, oh, I'm not, if this week is quiet or whatever. Just know that you're already in progress. And if you are feeling like you're not doing it right or not doing something, that's you holding really tightly to a specific outcome. We don't want to do that. We want to be very malleable during this time, okay? You're already doing it. So just know, like I said before, you're exactly where you need to be at this time. No matter what gets revealed eventually, no matter what beliefs change, leap. You go first. The universe will catch you. Total and utter faith. Again, that you're exactly where you need to be. Do not try to mentally manipulate or grasp onto it. There's no need for that. Again, you're already doing it. With this Ace of Wands and the Magician, you're fully capable. You're already doing it. You already started over. You already left behind a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't need. One more, please. Oh. Two of them came out. These are great. Okay. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. We're just talking about trusting the divine plan, but we're also talking about foundations and getting ready to really taking this time to shore up the energy to be able to truly step into laying and solidifying these foundations, right? Capricorn is the sign of foundations. And as Jupiter enters Capricorn, you feel like that's bringing up in big energy, but then the sun will also enter Capricorn in not too long, in roughly a month, right? If today is just starting Sagittarius. This is that sense of guidance too, and safety and maternal sort of protection. And the next card is play. Have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. I think this is perfect for this week. And I also love it next to the sort of maternal protection that we get the go ahead for this like childlike, innocent action and behavior. Because not everything is so damn serious. We just got out of this period of fucking underworld death and destruction, dissolving of all the things that and they just pointed me to Neptune again with that. So even the period of Neptune retrograde for so long, several months, that dissolving of all those illusions. So not everything has to be so serious. Take this time this week to enjoy any light energies that come up, release any heavy energies, and just know you're exactly where you need to be. Okay? I'm going to leave it there for this week. May or may not do an additional reading, so keep your eyes open for that. And until then, guys, just reminding you of my website here. If you want to go over anything that's going on in your personal life, I can absolutely work through that stuff with you, especially if you're having trouble letting go and letting God, so to speak. Or anything else that's coming up for you. Okay, so you can schedule with me on my website. And until next time, thank you again so much for your likes and your subscribes and shares. I will see you next time. All right. Goodbye.